Now, Donald Trump has visited a McDonald's franchise in Pennsylvania on Sunday, working the drive-thru and manning the fryer while he answered questions from reporters. The former president took a moment to boast about his time in office and sarcastically congratulated Kamala Harris on her 60th birthday. The visit was meant to be a jab at opponent Harris, who worked at the fast food chain while at college. Trump has frequently called the experience into question without providing any evidence. Meanwhile, Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and owner of X, hosted a town hall in Pittsburgh in support of Mr. Trump. In a short speech, Mr. Musk repeated false and fear-mongering claims, telling those attending that the Constitution is literally under attack. There is more in this report.
U.S. presidential candidates Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have spent weeks rallying supporters as the world looks forward to the U.S. presidential election. At a McDonald's in suburban Philadelphia, an employee showed Trump how to dunk baskets of fries in oil, salt them, and put them in boxes using a scoop. Vice President Kamala Harris attended services and spoke at the New Birth Missionary Baptist Church outside Atlanta. In the video circulated on social media, Kamala Harris is seen addressing a group of students at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, before being interrupted by a student who asked her to speak about the genocide in Gaza.
That our strength is not based on who we beat down, as some would try and suggest. Our strength is based on who we lift up. And that spirit is very much at stake in these next 16 days, which is, are we a country that honors, through our faith and our deeds, the importance of kindness, of support, of understanding the dignity in each other, the respect that we should have for each other?
Billionaire Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and owner of X, hosted a town hall in Pittsburgh in support of former President Donald Trump. He encouraged Republicans to vote in this election. The tech CEO tweeted to more than 200 million followers that he is offering $1 million daily to registered Pennsylvania voters who sign his pro-Trump petition.
So please definitely talk to friends, family, acquaintances, everyone you meet, and just get them to mail it in or put it in a Dropbox, and you can even hand it in person. So you can actually go in person tomorrow and hand in your ballot. So you can be super sure it gets there immediately. So if people don't want to mail it today or use a Dropbox, they can literally hand it in person tomorrow.
Meanwhile, former U.S. President Donald Trump criticized Joe Biden and his administration's foreign policy failure for the wars on multiple fronts, saying that if he were president, the October 7 attack on Israel wouldn't have happened. Trump addressed his cognitive state, saying he has passed 2 tests administered by doctors. Additionally, he said he has always supported the idea of a presidential and vice presidential candidate needing to pass cognitive tests in order to run for office.
I've done cognitive tests. I've done them twice, and I aced both of them. And the doctor, in one case, said, I've never seen anybody ace them. They've never seen anybody ace them. But I'd like to see cognitive tests for anybody running for president or vice president. I think it's important in a way.
Donald Trump's vice president also held a rally addressing Kamala Harris' recent interviews, calling them all softball press appearances. J.D. Vance targeted her character, calling her petty and saying she's not driven by love for this country.
Now, the leader, Democratic Party County, Dr. Nelson Benjamin, is joining me on the world now. Good to see you, Dr. Benjamin. Michigan has long been a crucial battleground with its electoral significance demonstrated in both 2016 and 2020. So, considering Michigan's diverse voter base, how do you think the contrasting campaign strategies of Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are resonating with voters this time round?
Yeah, thank you, Ibrahim, for having me. You are right on point. Before we say that, we need to understand, why most global analysts like us say the road to White House passes through Michigan. First, it contains 15 electoral college, and it's widely regarded as one of the 7 swing states, because in 2016, Donald Trump became the first Republican presidential candidate after the senior Bush to win the state with roughly over 10,000 votes due to majorly suburban voters. And in 2020, President Joe Biden won the state, with over 150,000 votes. So Michigan is not only volatile, it's highly unpredictable. Second, the voters demography, diverse voter demography in Michigan, it's quite resonating. Detroit, for example, which is the capital city of the state, has the highest number of African American. 78% of the city identify as Black American. So, and of course, we know Detroit has been significant in Black history movement since the 1967 of Malcolm X movement. So, secondly, Dearborn, which is few kilometers away from Detroit, is the largest Arab American city in United States. So over time, these two statistical demographics have been significant, in determining who win the states and who eventually, win the presidential election. So this has been very, very significant. The third thing that makes Michigan quite volatile is the economic and labor influence the state has. It's on record that Michigan is the fifth largest manufacturing state in United States and the highest concentration of automobile industry. So questions about economy, green energy, and transition to EV has been significant, as have been hot topic in terms of economy. So most of these candidates have been coming here to see how they can address the working class majority of Michigan. The blue-collar workers, which have been significant in most past elections, have been major voters. So the two candidates have been tailoring their message. For instance, Kamala Harris have been addressing transition to EV, supporting green energy job, and boosting labor union workforce, while our former President Donald Trump has been harping on increasing taxes on U.S. import from China, of course, which major analysts have said that will lead to economic catastrophe. So in total, why over 1 million votes has been cast already in Michigan, both presidential candidates with the vice presidential candidate have visited Michigan more than 35 times. Kamala Harris is expected to be back today in Oakland County, while he was here over Saturday. And Democrats is deploying former President Obama on Tuesday. Is going to be here to address most Black voters. And of course, over the weekend also, Michelle Obama will be here also to drum support.
That's right.
For Kamala Harris.
Dr. Benjamin, I understand that you actually witnessed, you were there when some of one of the candidates was actually campaigning there. So if you look at both candidates, they actually seem to be playing to their respective bases with heightened rhetoric. Kamala Harris has doubled down on progressive social policies, while Donald Trump continues to push populist and nationalist themes. How do you think this polarization is playing out in Michigan, where voters have swung in different directions in recent elections?
Well, thank you very much. So it's been widely reported that this is the most decisive election in U.S. history, majorly because of Donald Trump's rhetorics. If we recall in 2016 or 2015, when he declared his ambition to run for the president, he started with the anti-immigration rhetorics, which eventually paid off. Of course, he won the 2016 presidential election. And over the years, Republicans and Donald Trump in particular have been hammering on that point, the anti-immigration policies, which he said he was going to embark on the largest deportation of illegal immigrants in the U.S. history, and other points in terms of economy, as he has said that the economy has been bad. And of course, the majority of Americans have said under former President Donald Trump, they had more money than current situation. And, President Obama came out 2 weeks ago that most of the economic records of former President Donald Trump were actually because of his good economic policies. and so far so good. The United States economy has really come back. Of course, last month, U.S. recorded the highest job on record, polling over 250,000 jobs. And of course, inflation, of course, has significantly reduced. So which have been the major point of Donald Trump.
That's
so
right.
when talking about Kamala Harris, it has been a people-oriented campaign, because Kamala Harris have been campaigning on reproductive freedom, since the overturn of Roe versus Wade in 2022, which removed abortion rights, federal protection of abortion rights. There have been so many cacophony and disorientation along stage
very quickly.
So this has been great thing that Kamala Harris has been campaigning of in terms of reproductive
Dr. Benjamin, the 2024 election is seeing shifting demographic, especially in key swing states. Donald Trump continues to perform well with rural voters and non-college educated whites, while Kamala Harris is aiming to solidify support among minorities, women, and urban voters. So very quickly, in less than a minute if you can, do you see any surprising shift in traditional voting patterns this time around? Very quickly.
Definitely, like I said, it's quite unpredictable. Going by the polls, if you look at 2016 when Hillary Clinton was polling ahead of Donald Trump. Eventually, on the election day, Donald Trump came victorious. And right now, it's neck and neck in Michigan with Donald Trump having a slight edge, especially with the suburban voters. And, we still maintain that, though, despite the fact that it's within the margin of error,
that's right,
both of these candidates are still under poll. So in coming period, we are going to see how the rural voters that are predominantly for former President Donald Trump, and of course the urban and the suburban voters that are predominantly tending towards Kamala Harris are going to come out in terms of voting powers and trying to win the electoral votes for their candidates.
Absolutely.
So it all boils down
see
to
what
policies
happens
that have been resonating.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the meantime. We just still, it's an ongoing conversation, and then we tend to see what each candidate will be doing to, outsmart the other, or maybe outdo the other. But let's just leave it here for now. The leader, Democratic Party County, Dr. Nelson Benjamin, thank you so much for your insight into this very interesting topic. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now moving on, Georgia's opposition and